The NBA is a place where heroes are made and villains are born. Trae Young, the newest supervillain in the league, has become a lightning rod for hatred and criticism. But why do some people despise him so much? There are 5 main reasons why Trae has become one of the most hated players in the NBA. It all started during his college days at Oklahoma. Despite playing at an elite level, Trae was largely ignored by the media due to his school's emphasis on football. When his incredible performances could no longer be ignored, ESPN jumped on the Trae Young hype train, and his name was on everyone's lips. But for some fans, the constant hype was too much to bear. They resented this little guy from a small school stealing all the attention, and they let him know it. Trae was booed in almost every arena he played in, and some fans even brought giant pictures of birds to distract him when they discovered he had a bird phobia. Then came the infamous Young Doncic trade. When Trae struggled early in his rookie season and Luka Doncic flourished, those who had already disliked Trae were smugly licking their fingers. But Trae didn't stay down for long. He adapted to the speed of the game and began to show why he had been such a highly touted prospect. By the end of the season, he was in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. In his second season, Trae continued to silence his critics. He became an all-star and one of the league's most dynamic players. But as he became more and more of a superstar, he also began to develop a reputation for complaining to referees and hunting for free throws. Some fans found his antics disgusting, and they weren't shy about letting him know it. Despite all the hatred thrown his way, Trae has continued to thrive in the NBA. He's a player who never backs down, who relishes the chance to prove his doubters wrong. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that Trae Young is one of the most exciting players in the league today. Harden and numerous others were also engaging in the same behavior, and we are grateful that the league has altered the rule for the 2022 season. Although some fans were not thrilled with Trae's long-range shooting and criticized his defense, the true army of haters had not yet emerged. They came out in full force during Trae's first playoff series, and he faced their wrath head-on. During the 2021 playoffs, the Atlanta Hawks clashed with the New York Knicks, who were making their first playoff appearance in 8 years. Trae made sure that the Knicks would not forget their encounter. In Game 1, he scored 32 points and dished out 10 assists, including the game-winning floater, and as he walked to the bench, he shushed the Knicks fans, saying, "It's quiet as F in here." The Knicks faithful despised him for the remainder of the series, booing him, mocking his hair, and even spitting on him. However, Trae thrived on the animosity, and their trash talk inspired him to play even better. He wanted to add fuel to the fire, so after sinking the three-pointer that sent the Knicks packing in Game 5, he bowed to the New York crowd in true Reggie Miller fashion, nearly 30 years after Reggie made a choke sign towards Spike Lee. New York found itself with a new villain. The New York Knicks were dealt yet another blow by Trae Young, who proved to be a killer on the basketball court. The aftermath of his playoff victory over the Knicks saw him rise to infamy among the fans, much like Reggie Miller before him. Recently, at a WWE event in Madison Square Garden, Young made his presence known yet again. Donning a Hawks hoodie, he embraced his role as the villain, eliciting boos and jeers from the entire arena. What's truly absurd about the Trae Young backlash is that some fans dislike him simply for the way he looks. With his small stature and youthful features, he exudes a certain level of confidence and smugness that rubs some people the wrong way. Detractors claim that he shouldn't be good at basketball because he doesn't fit the mold of a typical player. But who's to say that greatness can't come in different forms? Look at Iverson. He was small, but he had swag for days and oozed coolness. Trae Young may not have that same tough guy persona, but his polite demeanor and killer instinct on the court speak for themselves. Let's judge him based on his game, not his appearance. The entire Jupiter's Moon and People community are beyond angry to see a guy like that destroying their team. However, Trae's unique antics on the court make him stand out, like the way he shimmies and shivers after a big shot, mimicking his nickname, Ice Trae. When the smallest player on the floor beats you and then rubs it in your face, it's got to sting. Kobe Bryant thrived on being booed and loved being arrogant towards fans, even if they hated him. Some people thrive off negative energy, and Trae might be one of them. He could become the NBA's most hated player if he keeps shushing opposing arenas in the playoffs. Basketball is a sport where emotions run high, and there's no shortage of passion and drama. Fans fall in love with heroes and despise villains. Just look at Christian Laettner, the most hated college player in history. People disliked him for various reasons, like his good looks, winning all the time, or his perceived arrogance on the court. One of the biggest reasons why fans hate players is free agency and trades. It's heartbreaking when your favorite player leaves for another city. Vince Carter felt the brunt of the hate every time he faced his former team. It's all part of the game, and sometimes players become the scapegoat for their fans' emotions. He ventured off to Toronto, carrying with him the weight of a painful defeat that left him with a tarnished reputation. The Raptors were forced to trade him away after LeBron's decision in 2010, leaving him despised by everyone except the people in Miami. But when KD made his move to Golden State, the tide shifted, and he became the most hated man in Oklahoma City. It's a common occurrence for players to be met with even more hostility during playoff battles. Just look at Reggie Miller and Kobe, who were both loathed for their success and arrogance against any team they faced. Then there were those players who were known for their dirty tactics on the court, like Bill Lambert and Bruce Bowen, who seemed to always be planting their feet for someone to trip over. Dwight Howard was also disliked for his diva behavior, and Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler were deemed too loud and obnoxious for some. Karl Malone had a habit of elbowing people in the face, which didn't win him any fans either. In the world of sports, it's not always about the game itself. Sometimes, off-court factors can influence how fans perceive a player, leading to intense hatred and animosity towards them. A prime example of this is Chris Humphries, who was once one of the most hated players in the NBA, despite his relatively average basketball skills. His marriage to Kim Kardashian and his appearance as a privileged trust fund kid made him a target for criticism, and many fans just couldn't stand him. Similarly, Trae Young has become one of the most disliked players in the league, and it's not entirely because of his skills on the court. While he may share some of the same character traits as Kobe and Reggie Miller, it's his smugness and cockiness that have earned him a reputation as a villain among NBA fans. But what sets Trae apart is his ability to handle the pressure and back up his game, even when an entire fan base seems to be against him. Of course, not every player who's hated is disliked for off-court reasons. Some, like Bill Lambert and Bruce Bowen, were notorious for their dirty tactics on the court. These players would deliberately plant their feet in hopes of causing other players to trip and fall, earning them a reputation as dirty players. Dwight Howard, on the other hand, was disliked for his diva behavior, which included demanding trades and feuding with teammates and coaches. Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler have both faced criticism for being too loud and obnoxious, while Karl Malone was infamous for his tendency to elbow people in the face. In many cases, it's a combination of on-court behavior and off-court factors that lead to a player being disliked by fans. The ability to handle pressure. Whether it's due to off-court factors like Chris Humphries or on-court tactics like Bill Lambert and Bruce Bowen, players who can draw intense emotions from fans are often the most memorable. And while it's never fun to be hated, it can also be a sign that a player is doing something right, especially if they're able to back up their game with impressive performance on the court. If you enjoyed this discussion on the most hated players in the NBA, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more engaging content.